right. Man. Hey, listen. The first Philadelphia 76ers post-game live show of the year is happening right now. I haven't been doing these for the preseason, but there's something we got to talk about tonight. So I figured, why not kick off the post-game live shows tonight? So we're going to get right into everything. We're not going to waste any time. And if you want to give your thoughts on everything, there is a call-in section on the Discord channel. The link is in the description. The link is pinned at the top of the chat. I'm sorry for that. And we got the live hotline active, 951-981-7683, if you want to call the show and give your thoughts. Everybody hit the like button for me one time. Push this thing through the algorithm, and let's get right down to business. So obviously, the one thing everybody wants to talk about, shout out to all the members back in the chat. Obviously, the one thing everybody wants to talk about is the Paul George knee injury. Now, we were watching the game live. We were live streaming it. And somebody put in the chat, Paul George is hurt. And I said, Cap, Paul George is not hurt, bro. What are you talking about? And I want to first of all apologize to that person because they were right. But they just said Paul George is hurt. And they said he's not on the bench. And I was like, okay, he's not on the bench. What could that possibly mean? And then we were trying to speculate why Paul George left the game and wasn't coming back. And then Sean Bernard posted the video of the knee hyperextension. I'm not sure how he got it that quickly or if he saw it happen live and went and found it real quick, but shout out to Sean Bernard. He posted it, I watched it, and I said, ouch. Ouch. Now, I don't want to freak anybody out right off the rip. The Sixers are calling it a hyperextension. There's no diagnosis right now at all, but Paul George definitely hyperextended his knee in a preseason game. And so the first reaction is, wow. The 76ers get Paul George this offseason. And in the second preseason game, he hyperextends his knee. So let's just go right over to Twitter. Let's try to find the information on it. Philly Sixers Galaxy, have they posted anything about it? Okay, there you go. Jeff Stotts, owner of, I don't know why this guy's credible, but Paul George, the term hyperextension is more of a descriptor of what happened to the knee than the actual diagnosis. Expect more tests to come. Injuries labeled as hyperextended knee result in an average time lost of 6.4 days. So that's good to know for those wondering that Paul George did hyperextend his knee. He let's do it in order, bro. Let's go watch the clip, that Sean Bernard posted, here's Sean Bernard posted the clip right here. And this is I guess that's as big as we can get it because it's on Twitter. But here's Paul George right here. You see him right here guarding Jalen Johnson. He's going to take a step back with his left leg right here. And, bro. Let's see if will this zoom in? No, that's just making the font of the tweet bigger. You see his left knee right there, bro. I mean, that's definitely a hyperextension. Looks like it hurt a lot. And so we were freaking out for a little bit, okay? Now the word from the people is that it is a hyperextension. And according to that tweet that I just showed, where was it at? It was under Philly Sixer Galaxy. So you see the video of the hyperextension, and then you see here injuries labeled as hyperextended knee result in an average time lost of 6.4 days. That's a very specific number, 6.4 days. But if there's nothing torn and he's fine, I guess he'll be ready for the season opener. We really don't have much information on there's no diagnosis right now. The good thing is that he walked off the floor. He didn't, even on the play when the knee kind of bent, he didn't fall down. He didn't fall down and hold his knee in pain, nothing like that. He walked off the floor, and there was no big deal made about it. Nobody even really knew that he was hurt. He walked off the floor. He went to the locker room. He didn't come back to the bench. He didn't come back in the game, obviously, but it didn't look that bad is what we're saying. Didn't look that bad. Definitely hyperextended it, but he didn't fall. He wasn't screaming in pain, nothing like that. So just off of what that looked like, doesn't look like there's any damage to the knee or anything. Just looked like a hyperextension, and but at 34 years old, you can get, at any age, you can hyperextend a knee and get knee swelling and things like that. Somebody said Paul George had the same injury in 2023, and he missed 6 weeks. Who knows? But you could definitely get some lingering issues, or just some pain, or just some swelling from a knee hyperextension. And so that happened. That definitely happened. Paul George hyperextended his knee, and he didn't fall down holding it, grimacing in pain or anything. He walked off the floor, but the Philadelphia 76ers signed Paul George to a $212 million contract. We're hype all off season. We finally have a team that has a chance to win a championship, and I'm not saying that's not possible. I'm not saying this affects that whatsoever. But it's just damn Philadelphia 76ers luck that Paul George hyperextended his knee in a preseason game. He didn't tear his ACL. It's not a serious injury. He could miss a season opener, but I don't care. That would suck. But I don't care. You know what I mean? If he hyperextended his knee, and even if he's out 2 weeks, even if he's out a month, it is what it is. But the internet's probably going crazy right now, because obviously you got the Joel Embiid still ramping up his knee, recovering from the Olympics BS that's going on, with Joel Embiid. And then you get a Paul George hyperextended knee in the preseason. Just those two things together don't look great, just semantically for the 76ers. Aesthetically, does not look great to be limping into the start of the season. To be two of your top 3 players to be limping into the start of the season does not look great. But again, we just watched the video. You can find the video on every social media. It's on my Instagram, on my TikTok. It's all over the place everywhere now. You can find it if you didn't see it. He definitely hyperextended his knee, but he walked off the floor. He didn't fall over in pain, and it just doesn't look that serious. So there's the assessment, my assessment of that. If you want to give me your thoughts on it, again, the Discord line is open. The phone line is open. You can go ahead and call into the show if you have a different take on that. RJ, what's going on, man? Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers find ways to kill joy. Yes, they just do. That's a good way to put it. Just a way to kill joy, bro. Just a way to rain on our parade. We were having some fun. watching the preseason. And after Paul George's first preseason game, we were having some fun. And yeah, the basketball gods at least found a way to, at least hopefully temporarily, take away our happiness. The thing now is they will have to limit him during the regular season because of that injury. I don't know really if that's true, because it's not an injury. We don't really know yet. But if there's nothing damaged in his knee, then it's just a hyperextension, which is just like, getting a bang knee to knee contact and a bone bruise and some swelling and things like that. I don't think that. I mean, there would be no reason for them to take that and then limit him throughout the season because of that, because it's not like he would be recovering from a knee injury. He did not injure anything inside of his knee. He hyperextended it. Again, it could end up being a little bruised and swollen, but not something that I think they would have to look at the rest of the season. My take. If you feel like I'm wrong about that, you can go ahead and tell me if you think I'm wrong about that. That's fine. But I don't think we should be freaking out. I don't think we should be, oh my God, look, it's over. Season's over. Sixers can't have anything nice. It's done. We're screwed. All of our stars are old and injured. This is never going to work. All this stuff. I think that's an overreaction to this. It didn't look like a super crazy hyperextension. But it definitely was one. And we'll find out, I guess, more tomorrow when you got like Nick Nurse commenting on it or whoever. And I'm sure there's going to be some medical tests run and then we'll have a full assessment on, what actually happened, and we'll get a little bit of, I guess, a timetable. Hopefully by tomorrow at some point they'll tell us if he's going to be ready for the season opener. But there's the Paul George knee situation. And should we go right to the phone lines right off rip? Or should I assess the rest of the game? We'll take a couple calls here on what you guys think of the Paul George thing, man, and then I'll just give you my thoughts on some of the rest of that preseason game. We got the Bull RJ. RJ is live in the Discord.
Yeah.
RJ, hold up a second. I gotta close this. I gotta close this thing real quick, or I actually gotta change. Hold up a second, RJ. I gotta change where my audio is coming out on the Discord. Give me 1 second here, and then we'll get to you because I got two things coming out of the same audio channel. I'm sorry, just a little technical difficulty on my end. Here we go. Voice and video. We'll change output device. Not that. That's not what I wanted. Is that what I wanted? Yeah, that is what I wanted. That is what I wanted. RJ, you there?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah,
what's going on, RJ? Give me a check 1 2. Let me make sure I can hear you over on the live stream.
Yo. Good.
Oh, we probably got I think we got an echo going on now. Hold up one time. It looks like we got an echo going on now. It's been almost a year since I've run the live show with the call-ins.
Yeah, you good.
All right, cool. Let me check out the chat. Make sure everyone in the chat hit me up one time. Can you hear RJ loud and clear? And is there an echo at all in the chat? Give me a audio 1 to 10 in the chat. Yeah, RJ, what's going on, man? Good to hear from you. What's up, man?
What they do to Eastwood? I ain't gonna be long-winded. I'm about to just say this. Like, first of all, oh shit, here we go again. And secondly, are we really relying on Six's medical to tell us the truth? Like what the hell is 6.4 days, bro? What is that? That's like a week and 12 and what to 12 p.m. I don't get it. I don't
even know.
What the fuck.
I don't even know who that dude is that I got that tweet from. That people are retweeting that dude, his tweet right here. Here it is. Put it on the screen again. People are retweeting this guy, and he's the owner of InStreetClothes.com. I don't even know what that is. Injury analyst for SmartDoeCap.com. Athletic trainer, I guess. So apparently, athletic trainers abbreviate number of days because 6.4 days is just the most random thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's just our luck though, but it's all right though. I'm gonna keep my head up, but I'm gonna be trolling in the Discord. But other than that, we should be straight though, for real, for real. I'm just playing around in the Discord. But y'all don't freak out, y'all. We should be straight. Hopefully he ain't a Weber situation or a Bynum situation. So I'll be straight.
RJ being positive, and listen, everybody. If RJ's in here being positive about this, then that's setting the tone because RJ becomes a doomsdayer pretty quickly when it comes to Philly sports. So
yeah, I'm doomsday in the Discord. So y'all check me out in the Discord. I'm just gonna be talking shit.
All right, bro. Good to hear from you, man.
It's good to hear from you, Pete.
RJ7 Deuce in the Discord. He said, "Here we go again." I had somebody on the phone line. They went away when I took RJ's call, but you can call back, man. If you want to call back, we'll put you on the show. Other things, it's hard to talk about anything else on this game because when that thing happened, then I kind of stopped paying attention to really like the third quarter. Once we got that report, kind of stopped watching the game for a minute. I was just ranting and raving about the Paul George knee situation. But other takeaways from the game, dude, they're posting the screenshots of the knee thing in the Discord. Other takeaways from the game. Listen, what do I want to say, man? There's a backup point guard situation. Jared McCain looks great right now in the preseason. Jared McCain looks great. Very impressed with Jared McCain. Again, I thought he played a controlled game today. I thought he was very physical. There was a couple times where he really went at defenders under the basket. Jared McCain is surprising me with his physicality and his toughness and his willingness to go down there and his searching out contact. I saw him a couple times really get physical under the rim and search out contact, and he drew a foul one time. And so Jared McCain's impressing me with his toughness, his aggression. We know the three-point shot is good. He seems to be under control. Jared McCain looks really, really good. And when you look at then the other point guards on the team, Kyle Lowry and Reggie Jackson. Kyle Lowry's out here bombing air balls. Reggie Jackson's out here shooting air balls. Reggie Jackson doesn't look like he's in great shape. So you got Tyrese Maxey, who I thought was best at the two guard position last year because it opens up him more as a scorer. But we are seeing a little bit of playmaking development from Tyrese Maxey, I think, in the pick and roll situations and things like that. So when you just look at the point guard rotation, I think you got two old, washed point guards in Kyle Lowry and Reggie Jackson, and you got Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain. You got Jeff Doughton Jr. on a two-way, but really I think Jared McCain is looking like he has the potential to step into the backup point guard spot on this team. Because if Tyrese Maxey is going to be the starting point guard, Kyle Lowry and Reggie Jackson just aren't doing it for me right now. And Jared McCain's looking very impressive throughout the preseason. So I think I just wanted to say that I think Jared McCain could become the backup point guard a lot sooner than I would have imagined. I thought we were going to go into this and he was going to get limited minutes. I thought he was going to look a lot more raw than he looks. And I thought we would be talking about Jared McCain playing in the G League. And now I'm watching the preseason and I'm saying, hold up. Lowry and Reggie Jackson are looking washed out there. Jared McCain's impressing me. I think we could have Jared McCain be a lot larger role in his team a lot quicker than we all thought. So that stood out to me in this game. Jared McCain looking poised, looking physical, looking experienced, looking mature on the floor. And Kyle Lowry and Reggie Jackson looking kind of washed. Jared McCain could be the number 2 point guard on this squad. Maybe that's an overreaction, but there's definitely an in-between there. You got a 20-year-old and a couple of 35-year-olds, so what's the better option at backup point guard right there? I guess we'll have to wait till the season actually starts to really assess who looks good and who doesn't. Somebody in the live stream said that don't take this too seriously. Guys at the age of Kyle Lowry and Reggie Jackson aren't really trying in the preseason. And I pushed back on that because I think you would have to have a guaranteed role in the team to deliberately not try in the preseason. I think guys like Kyle Lowry and Reggie Jackson are at an age where they should be trying to show everyone that they can still play, right? So you would think that Kyle Lowry and Reggie Jackson would actually be trying even harder than they normally would in the preseason because they're trying to prove to everyone that they can still play at a high level. So I don't believe that, don't take the preseason seriously. Guys aren't trying. Old guys that are trying to prove that they can still play in the league are definitely trying, And young guys like Jared McCain who are trying to prove that they can play in the league are trying. So I am taking what they look like in the preseason pretty seriously. And that's just what stood out to me else in this game, the Jared McCain, Kyle Lowry, Reggie Jackson stuff. Yabusele, I loved what he looked like in this game. Again, aggressive, physical, has a 3-point shot, hit a couple of threes in the game, was under the rim fighting, was physical, had a roll to the rim off of a Tyrese Maxey pick and roll where he caught the ball rolling down the rim, tried to poster somebody and decided to lay it in instead. I think Yabusele is going to be pretty big for the Sixers this year. I think I said it when they signed him, but I think Gershon Yabusele is going to surprise a lot of people, and he's going to end up being a pretty big part of the rotation. And I you could see how many minutes Nick Nurse is playing him in the preseason. I think Nick Nurse also thinks that. I think Nick Nurse really likes Gershon Yabusele and is really planning on using him in the rotation. Ricky Council is pissing me off. I don't know how. Ricky Council looked the way that he looked last year and then came into this preseason and looked like this. Ricky Council gets on the floor so far in the preseason and looks like a chicken with his head cut off. The dude is absolutely running full speed in all directions. Looks like there's hardly a basketball thought running through his brain. He's totally flying around like a menace with no organization or rhyme or reason for anything. A play that happened that definitely sums this up. He drives baseline. He has a 2-on-1. Yabusele's coming down the middle of the lane. Ricky Council plows straight into the defender instead of passing the ball. I mean, the guy was standing there for what felt like 3 seconds, and he ran straight into him. Ricky Council's just not... I'm disappointed in what Ricky Council looks like so far in the preseason. He needs to calm the hell down. He needs to calm down to get it together. He played some games last year in the NBA regular season where he looked under control, he looked poised, he looked experienced. And I think it was you, NZ, for 3. I see you in the Discord, and I'm going to get to you in a second. I think it was you that said it in the live stream. It's easy to look good when you're coming in after Tobias Harris. And so I think Tobias was so afraid of contact and timid and nonchalant. And we just loved when Ricky Council came in the game, how aggressive he was attacking the rim and how physical he was. And so we may have severely overhyped the NBA ability of Ricky Council, at least, early on as a rookie. There's definitely a reason Nick Nurse didn't feel comfortable playing him in the playoffs. Now I'm watching him in the preseason. I mean, he's jumping in the air and doing like 360 pass turnovers. Like, the guy, he kind of looks like he's blind. Ricky Council kind of looks like he's out there playing with his eyes closed. That's kind of what he looks like so far in the preseason to me. I'm not saying he doesn't have the potential that we thought he had. I'm just saying he hasn't looked good so far in the preseason, and he needs to get his shit together. Contract KJ Martin had some nice plays in this game and looked aggressive and had some dunks and caught some alley-oops, and KJ Martin's looking pretty good so far. Caleb Martin's looking like, he's a veteran. We know what Caleb Martin is. 3-and-D, 3-point shooter, can get to the rim, is aggressive, had a couple forced steals, had a couple fast break dunks. Kelly Oubre and Caleb Martin are both type of guys that are going to harass other teams and just play high energy basketball. So it's fun to have both of those guys on our squad. But I think that's all the things that stood out to me in this preseason game, aside from the Paul George injury, if it's an injury at all. But we got NZ for 3 in the Discord on the phone line. NZ.
What's good, Eastwood? Can you hear me, dude?
I can hear you, brother. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, bro. I'm just really disappointed in Paul George getting injured because I got his jersey today, bro. I had a $50 Dick's Sporting Goods gift card. Decided, I'm going to go cop myself a Paul George jersey. And, of course, because it's Philly sports and basketball gods want us to suffer, he gets injured the day I get that jersey. So I'm sorry for cursing everyone.
You got to take that John back. You got to take it back ASAP. As soon as possible, you got to go return it.
Yeah, and then burn my Tobias Harris jersey. I'm playing.
Wait, you own a Tobias Harris jersey?
Nah, dude, I'm joking. Yeah, anyway, bro, like, I'm really impressed with the way Jared McCain has been playing. I was like you. I was kind of just a little confused at the pick in general. I thought we needed another wing to put on the bench and stuff. But no, dude, he's really been impressing me just with his tenacity and his willingness to absorb contact. It's crazy how, rookie 20-year-old Jared McCain is more willing to, absorb contact and just embrace the physicality of the NBA more than, veteran Tobias Harris, whose only offensive skill is, be an interior player. You know what I mean? So it's really good to see McCain already show that sort of maturity early on in his career. And he isn't really shooting well from 3 so far, but he is showing that he does have other parts of his offensive bag that he, although is raw, he can definitely work on. And I know a common comparison for him is Seth Curry, but dude, I think he could be more of an Eric Gordon type of player, like a secondary ball handler who could really help your team in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I agree, man. I'm also impressed so far with Jared McCain in the preseason, man. I was so overreactionary to the draft pick.
I was there.
But, people that watch a lot of college basketball, they were like, yo, he's nice, bro. You don't know what you're talking about. Watch him. He's nice. And it's, it seems like they're right so far. I'm happy with what Jared McCain looks like, man. I wish he was 6'6", but, he's not. But he looks good.
For sure. I mean, yeah, it was definitely a solid pick. Looking back, like, yeah, maybe we could have used another wing. But McCain is definitely a really good player with a whole lot of upside, and hopefully he does get some run because, the Sixers are low-key the best situation for him to be getting drafted into. I know, when you're looking at rookies and stuff, they're drafted into, losing teams and stuff, so they're going to get a lot of minutes and all of that. But McCain, not only is he really young, so he's just going to get playing time, he's not only playing next to Joel Embiid, a player who's going to generate him a lot of looks, he's also going to be mentored by Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry, and Reggie Jackson. So Philly has a lot to offer him.
Yeah. Another player that's impressing me so far is Eric Gordon, man. Everybody said he's washed when we signed him. I also thought that he looks like he still has a lot of game left, man. And it's good to have him, older veteran guys around Jared McCain for sure.
For sure, yeah. Eric Gordon's definitely the most underrated signing for me. His buttery smooth jump shot and just his veteran presence and ability to hoist threes while also being that secondary ball handler. Yep. He's just going to make the right play whenever you need him to. That is something that is going to be really valuable come playoff time because he has been, on some really good teams with the Rockets and, knows what it's like to play next to a player who really commands a lot from the offense and knows what it's like to just be an off-ball guy and play a backstage role and, step up when you need him to. And so I really like how Eric Gordon has found his role in the Sixers already. And just a word to describe this entire team is just their absolute tenacity. You know what I mean? When they're diving for loose balls, getting all of those rebounds, those putback dunks. I know I mentioned that in the chat. Like Kelly and Caleb, dude, they had more putback dunk attempts than Tobias did in all of his 5 years here, bro. I swear. Like, it's crazy just how athletic they are. And when we look at them, it's like, yeah, dude, they're just basketball players. You know what I mean? The Sixers have had so many one-dimensional dudes who have just not been able to do anything except, handle the ball or shoot or do all of that. But here with this Sixers team, everyone has something to do, if that makes sense, because they have the actual capability to do it. Like if Kelly isn't, getting much attention with the ball, then he could just be a ball hawk defender. Same thing with Caleb and all of that. So everyone on the Sixers has a role to play, and I think they all have the skill to do it. And so I'm just super excited for the season, and hopefully Paul George can really rest that knee up and be healthy come the season opener, because I'm really looking forward to that game, getting revenge on the Bucks and the refs that definitely rigged that last matchup last year.
Dude, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yo, NZ, thanks for calling the show as always, brother. Good to hear from you. I'll talk to you a lot this season, man. Take it easy.
Yes, sir. See ya.
NZ43 on the Discord. Somebody posted a Brian Sutter video
Paul George suffered a knee
in the Discord, and I figured, you know what? Why not go ahead and watch Brian Sutter's assessment of the Paul George injury. This is a doctor on YouTube who he covered a lot of the Joel Embiid stuff. I was using a lot of his videos reacting to the Joel Embiid injury last year in the playoffs and things like that. So let's just go ahead and hear what Brian has to say. He's quick with it, man. My man, bro, the thing just happened. My man went upstairs in his house. He put on a shirt and tie and recorded a video that fast. Brian Sutter, man, he's quick with it. Let's hear what he says.
Injury during this preseason game against the Hawks, and honestly, Paul George suffered a knee injury during this preseason game against the Hawks, and honestly, it's not really getting much attention online, but could in fact turn out to be something quite serious for the 76ers player. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Suter, and the goal in this channel is to teach you about the medical side of the sports world. So, taking a look here, Paul George, like on the broadcast, they didn't even say anything about it. I went back and watched through. There was no mention of Paul George leaving the game after this happened. We just saw he wasn't returning for the second half. There was no other replay, but I mean, this could turn out to be a pretty serious injury. George did not return. The official word is just a knee hyperextension, which, remember, hyperextension is not a diagnosis. It's just a description of what the joint does. You can hyperextend any joint. You can hyperextend your wrist, your elbow, your fingers, here in this case, the knee, but that doesn't actually tell us what the injuries are. And some hyperextension injuries can result in ACL tears or PCL tears, injuries that could keep you out for the season. Here what we're seeing with Paul George. So this happens as a result of this unexpected movement, right? Whenever your limb goes into an unnatural hyperextended position, it's because of some unnatural position, some fall, somebody lands into you that pushes your knee into that different way. Here, as he's going defense and backpedaling, he puts that left leg out and he's really paying attention down here to the ball. And so he kind of loses track of where his left leg is in space. And you can see how that knee just pretty severely hyperextends on him here. So this position is going to be about neutral in terms of the alignment, the position of the knee. And then as his momentum carries him backwards, his foot is anchored into the ground. That momentum continues and we see that amount of hyperextension. We're not really catching him straight on, and so it's hard to say the exact angle, but what we're talking about is going to be if you draw a straight line out here and then a line coming down the tibia, this angle right there is going to be the degrees of hyperextension. The other important factor with a hyperextension injury is also the side-to-side movement of the limb, because that's going to put a lot more stress on the collateral ligaments like the LCL, the MCL. We all saw recently with Rashee Rice, of course, in the NFL, he suffered an LCL tear on the outer part of his knee because there was more of this varus load pushing the knee from in to out. We don't have any external load here with Paul George. Typically, that's a good sign. Usually when there's no external load causing the hyperextension, it turns out to be a less serious injury, but there's a lot of stuff that can happen here. So if we go and we look at our biodigital anatomy tool next, the first structure of interest is going to be this joint capsule. The capsule surrounds the entire joint. It's like the lining, the protective lining around the joint to maintain that joint space. And so if the knee hyperextends, you're going to get tearing, stretching of that capsule. And that's not anything that needs to be surgically fixed or repaired, but can certainly cause a lot of pain. The next thing then, if you hide the capsule, what you're going to have happen is you're going to have bone contusions. So contusions is essentially a bruise. Whenever the knee hyperextends, you get a compressive force pushing down that way, while you have tension on the back side of the knee. And so in the front of the knee, as it knocks and hyperextends, it's very expected. You can assume that there's going to be bruising, there's going to be some microfracture in the front of that bone. That can also injure the cartilage in the front of the bone. You can also have meniscal tears. On the back side of the knee, the next structure that's going to get torn in that excessive tension or stretch is this oblique popliteal ligament. Again, not really a named ligament that we think of looking at on like ultrasound or MRI, but is very frequently injured with a hyperextension. Next, you get into those deep, key, important ligaments inside the knee. We're talking about the ACL and the PCL. Both can occur whenever there's been a hyper.
All right, listen, Brian's giving us a lot of good information on a potential injury and how it could be an injury, but yeah, I know. Like, he's really giving us worst case scenario. This is what could have happened to Paul George, and he's listen, Brian, I don't want you to scare me, bro. Okay, I use your videos on all the Joel Embiid stuff, and you were nice. You were being nice. You were nice that whole time. You're not being nice right now. You're not being nice. You're trying to scare me, okay? And I don't like it. Now, somebody said that Paul George claimed that he's not worried about it. Where is this information at? Where is this information? Sixers have officially ruled Paul George's left knee as a hyperextension. Chatted with Paul George in the postgame locker room, says Gina Mizell. He had a sleeve on the knee, but was walking and said he's not too concerned about the prognosis. We'll get treatment on it tonight and proceed from there. More coming later. So Paul George officially said he's not too concerned about it, which I would think definitely means he didn't feel some kind of pop, some kind of tear, some kind of anything in there. He felt that thing bend backwards a little bit, walked off the floor. So Paul George himself doesn't seem like he's in excruciating pain and is too worried about what happened. So that's a great sign. That makes me feel a lot better than Brian just made me feel on his YouTube video. I think that's really all I have, man. Listen, if somebody said answer your phone, if you guys are calling the line right there, 951-981-7683, I'll answer your call, man. I don't see anybody up there. I don't see anybody on my screen waiting to call in. So if you are dialing the number, or if you were waiting and I didn't answer and you left or whatever, go ahead and dial the number again, and I'll take your call. A says Paul George is out 4 to 6 weeks. That's just totally not true. A, why are you in the chat trolling as a member of the channel? Come on, A. You're better than that. You're better than that. Is that the same leg Paul George broke years ago during a playoff game? I'm not sure. And I remember that. Do you remember that? That was a nasty injury. I don't know if that was during a playoff game, but I remember when Paul George, he broke that whole thing in half on like the bottom of the backboard. His foot got stuck under the backboard and his whole, y'all remember that gruesome knee injury that Paul George had. Yeah, there it is. Does anyone remember Paul George breaking his leg on national television? It was, that one was terrible. Load management P incoming. Yeah, you're probably right. But we still get to watch Tyrese Maxey all season, and there's some players on this team that are impressing me so far. Jared McCain's impressing me so far. Eric Gordon, I'm very happy with what Eric Gordon looks like in the preseason so far. But yeah, we could be seeing a Paul George, Joel Embiid load management type of injury. Yeah. Hey, you got tickets to the season opener? Should I make a prediction? No, I'm not going to make a prediction. I was going to say whether or not I think Paul George is going to play in the season opener. I'm not making a prediction, but there's all of my thoughts on the Paul George thing, and then who impressed me in the preseason game and things like that. And thank you NZ for calling the show. Thank you for RJ for calling the show. That's all I got, man. I'll talk to you guys soon. If we have some more information on it tomorrow, I'll definitely have some videos up and things like that. But thanks for hanging out with me. You guys are the best. And I will talk to you very soon. Hit the like button, subscribe, all those things. You guys are the best. I'll see you.